Well, it does help if you inherit a good squad, but that first half of the season here at Arsenal could not really have gone that much better. We're top of the table. We're through to the proper knockout rounds of the Champions League. We're through to another Carabao Cup final, which we don't really care about that much, but we're still happy about it. Everything's going great. It's the perfect time to have a game against Tottenham Hotspur, who are second in the table, just behind us, followed by a game against my former employer, who beat us earlier in the season. Because what could go wrong? Hi there, how you doing? Welcome to part number 5 of Club 4 of the MyCareer save here on Football Manager. My name is Stu. Thank you for joining me in today's video, where we will be playing the 2 aforementioned games, and we're going to be aiming not to balls them up. And if you're excited to see whether we can avoid ballsing those games up, then don't forget to leave a big like on the video for me and hit that subscribe button. It's completely free to do so, and you'll keep up to date with all nonsense that comes out of this space right here. So, as mentioned, things going pretty well. Not too unhappy. The last time you saw me was Bradford. We beat them 4-0 after getting battered a little bit by Manchester City. Now, that's not our last loss. Our last loss, actually, was against Manchester United 2-1. That one stung a bit, but other than that, we've won every game that's not been in Europe. However, our last 2 European games have been draws. One against Roma away from home. That's a difficult place to go, but I would have expected us to win. And the other one against PSG, a 0-0 draw. We didn't concede, but I would have liked to think that we could maybe score a goal against Paris Saint-Germain, which we obviously didn't do, which is a little bit disappointing, but it is what it is. Other than that, we've been pretty good. Battered Liverpool in the Premier League 5-0 at home. That was fantastic. We beat Newcastle over 2 legs, 5-1 at home, 2-1 away, and we beat Everton 4-0 there. Then recently we've had a 6-2 drubbing of West Ham, a 5-1 drubbing of Nottingham Forest, and then a little bit of a tamer win at Brentford. Now, against West Ham and Nottingham Forest, you know what I'm like. I did use different tactics. For the majority of the game against West Ham, where we started to actually look good, we used a different tactic. Now, we were 2-0 up. Then we conceded 2 goals. Then we got another one. Then in the second half, we dominated when we switched to the tactic. I then used it against Nottingham Forest. Was quite happy with it. I then decided to park it because I feel like it's a good battering a team in poor form tactic. Against Brentford, who are in poor form but away from home, we went back to the 4-3-3 that we have been using, and it works perfectly well. I realised as well I've been incredibly harsh on Daniel Pitchford because I've been acting like he doesn't score goals. If I show you his form, you can see obviously he's had a bit of a barren spell here, but I've been messing around with whether he's an advanced forward, a complete forward, a deep line forward. If you go to when he was an advanced forward consistently, he's not scoring every game, but he's scoring every other game. Chelsea, goal. Villa, goal. Newcastle, 2 goals. Crystal Palace, 3 goals. Went 2 games without scoring there, although that one he only came up in the 60-odd minute. Then we played him as a deep line forward, played well for a couple of games. I convinced myself he was a deep line forward at that point. He also played as a complete forward in some of these games as well. Then convinced myself he was a complete forward. And now he's an advanced forward, and I think he's going to continue to be an advanced forward, or in other words, his actual position. So yeah, I need to probably be a little bit less trigger happy with my criticism because he has scored a number of goals for us, which is exactly what he's here to do. Now, we have ended the January transfer window. We're obviously at the 12th of Feb at the moment. So let me show you some of the business that we have done. Business is a bit more than I thought there was going to be. Now you can see the money. We've spent 441. We've made 249. We have spent a lot of money this transfer window and the one before this year, but I think it is all for the greater good. We did move Alexander Pavlovich on for much less than I wanted to. He has gone to Roma. 25.5 million. Bearing in mind Arsenal paid 100 million for a player they barely used. I mean, it's not like he's a bad player, but I just wasn't using him, and to be honest, he didn't excite me, so we moved him on. The club is probably very mad at me for making a huge loss on him, but it is what it is. I would not have sanctioned that much for him. That's a ridiculous fee for him, so it is what it is. We also moved a bunch of players on loan. You already know about Keywar leaving. We've actually loaned out 2 of our youngsters who we signed in the summer. Luka Marcotta, the defensive midfielder, he's gone out on loan just to get a bit more experience. Why we've done that will become apparent in a moment. And Marko Tokic, the right back who we barely played, has also gone out on loan. Both of them just to get experience, and hopefully that is what they will do. Now, signing wise, oh boy, Gaston Garcia, I don't think you knew about. I signed him. He's a youngster with a bit of potential. He's staying on loan at Defensor Sporting. He'll be back with us, I think, at the end of the season. He's not actually done very well since he signed for us, though, so maybe we've cursed him a little bit, but he is with us. Now, the big signing. We finally got our man. I've chased this guy for a while in this save. Even when we were, I think, at Charlton at one point, I looked at him. Gavi is here. I will admit, I don't necessarily... Yeah, I don't know if this was a wise transfer because I am going to be using him as a defensive midfielder. He is a defensive midfielder, but he's not necessarily that good as a defensive midfielder. So... we'll see how that one goes. We only spent up to 50 million for him, though, which, to be fair, I think is a bargain. He's only worth up to 60, apparently, with the contract we've got him on. He's on a massive downgrade in terms of contract and squad status, so it is what it is. The main reason why I did that, though, is because Declan Rice has signed a contract to leave. I think he's going to Barcelona, but he's going to be leaving at the end of the season. Barcelona did not want to pay for him up front, so we've done what we've done. I'm okay with it, to be fair. We can find a place in the team for him. If not, it's absolutely fine. He's a good player. We've then signed 2 players on loan. Player number 1 is Nathan Collins at PSG. What a career he's had. Going from Wolves to Brentford, then to Paris Saint-Germain for 19 million, and now he's on here alone at the end till the end of the season at Arsenal. Yes, we're paying more money than we should be for him, but actually so far he's been a pretty solid defender. I'm pretty happy with his work so far. If he was 2 years younger, I'd sign him on a permanent, but he's not, so I'm not going to. And then we signed this guy, Filippo Missouri. He's a 27-year-old under-21 international for Italy, so he's not made much of his career. He's played 37 games for Roma between 2027 and 2031. He's not played a game for us yet, but I brought him in because he's backup at fullback. Because, again, we had to fullback go on loan. So that's the transfer business. Now, onto the league, which is the focus of today's video. This is how things are looking after 24 games, a game in hand over Spurs. We are currently 4 points ahead. At one point they did overtake us, but we still had that game in hand, so bear that in mind. Wolves, by the way, in 5th. We built a good squad there, it has to be said, and they have had injuries, so they are very close to being a Champions League team. So maybe us winning the league with them wasn't that much of a shock, to be honest with you, or much of a leap. I mean, it's certainly not looking that way, but it is what it is. But that is how things are looking. We've got the 3 best players in the league. Saka is one of the top goal scorers in the league. Darvic has got the most assists alongside Methistel. Also, Oduro is only 3 away from the clean sheet mark, even though he's actually not quite as good as I thought he would be. He's still doing a half-decent job. I'm really happy with how things have gone. So let's see whether we can ruin that by losing against Tottenham Hotspur. And your 11 for that game is as follows. It is Owusu Oduro in defence, Wrench, Satalo, Harto and Ruggieri in defence, Rice, Darvic and McRae in the middle with Saka and Tell supporting Pitchford up front. Injury news. Martin Odegaard is nearly fit again. 2 weeks away potentially. Sardea is also nearly fit again. 5 days away. Saliba was unwell. I don't know why I've left him out of this completely. He's going on the bench, at minimum on the bench. What was going on there with me? But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how things are going, to be honest with you. So let's just get into the game and let's see what happens. Villalba as well, the other striker, has scored a few goals. He was actually gung-ho scoring when we went to the 3 at the back formation. Like the true 3 at the back with the 2 wingers rather than wing backs. He was having a whale of a time scoring goals in that system. So we need to bear that in mind, that if we do move to that system in a game where we need to win, I'm setting it up in the case of the fact that we need to do it today and I can look like a tactical genius, then we know we've got a player who can consistently score goals in that system, whereas I don't think we necessarily can in the case of Daniel Pitchford. I think he's a very good striker, Daniel Pitchford. He still needs to find his place in the team a little bit. He still needs to sort himself out. He's still not quite as consistent as I'd like him to, although as showed previously, he's better than I've given him credit for. But we know that he's the better striker in this system. We know that Villalba is the better striker in a 2-striker or even 3-striker system. Right, we win the ball off of them very early on. The kickoff is actually where we start the first highlights. That's interesting. Darvic now goes back to Wrench. Wrench looking for options, goes out wide to Saka. Saka to Darvic. Darvic looking for someone to pass the ball to. Gives the ball away to Pedro Porro. That is not ideal from Noah Darvic, who's had a bit of a nosedive actually in the second half of the season. He's not looked anywhere near his best, and it's a bit concerning. He has the occasional good game, but there was a moment where he could do no wrong, and that moment has passed. It's a little bit concerning for me, so it is what it is. McRae's also not been quite as good recently as he has been all season, so we do need to monitor both of those things. Also a bit concerned with the momentum that Spurs have had very early on and the chances. I mean, we're at home, they're away. Why are we getting bullied by them? Why are we getting bullied by them? There we go, a bit more momentum. That's more like it. Let's get ourselves back into this game, shall we? Because we've kind of let them overtake us, and I don't much care for it. I'm going to encourage the boys. They're having chances of galore. We are not turning up in this game, and I don't really want this to be a game that we throw away. I'll be very concerned if this is a game that we throw away. Very concerned indeed. We're barely getting anything. If it carries on like this, it's very simple what we do. We are going to, first of all, we're going to go attacking. Second of all, we're going to go to the three at the back. Because we'll need to do something to get some goals, because I'm not losing this game. Simple as that. Regari does a great job winning the ball. Tal actually comes way further deep than I'd prefer him to. And now we have to build from the back. McRae they're just wanting everything in this game, Spurs, more than we are. Oscar Glock has got to be offside there. I'm not having that. That is offside. I'm not having that whatsoever. Get that checked. Thank you. Right, I'm berating the boys. This has been a shocking first half. It really has. I'm actually going to go attacking now, so we've got 15 minutes to try and kind of get ourselves back going again. I'm really not happy with this performance so far. Like, we need to step it up. Right, McRae, into Tell, into Pitchford. I was about to say that's more like it, but Pitchford hits the post. For someone with good finishing, he does half miss chances quite a lot. He really does. And it is concerning because he's a good striker, but I'm starting to think he's a bit of an illusionist. Everything looks good about him apart from what he actually does. No, I mean, unfair. He scored goals. He has scored goals when I played him in a consistent system and when I've consistently played him as an advanced forward. So I just need to do that more. Right, McRae into Regari. Regari looking for Tal, doesn't find him. We give the ball away needlessly again. Harto wins the ball back though. Darvic back to Sotalo. Sotalo has been kind of an unsung hero of the season as well. When I've just needed a rocking defence who I can rely on, I've relied on him. Right, Darvic now needs to do something here, and he does. He was on at 6.4 and he's gone and put us ahead in the North London derby, and it's Arsenal 1, Tottenham 0. We've been under the cosh in this game, but there we go. Declan Rice gets it to Noah Darvic, and Darvic just decides he wants to go and do something. I criticised him earlier as well, and he wasn't having a great game. That's the response I wanted. I'm not going to pretend that that's what I thought was going to happen, but that is the response I wanted, and we have come back into this game, and it is 1-0. That is fantastic. I'm going to say that one. We're also going to tell Regari to calm himself. Right, Totalo, considering I said he was our rock, has been awful. So I think I am going to bring on Saliba just to hopefully shore things up a little bit. Right, McRae and Saka. Saka's really disappointed me in this one. Really disappointed me. Now, I did change him to a supporting player. I'm actually going to change him back to attack and just see whether that can help the balance a little bit, because that obviously wasn't working. I had my reasons for it. I was only a bit of tactical tinkering. I should stop tactical tinkering. Right, cut inside with the ball as you were doing before. Let's try and get Saka back into the game. I'm going to keep Pitchford on because he's had good opportunities but just hasn't made the most of them. I'm also actually going to bring on Kadioglu. I think we'll just go with that. Just try and cement things, and we'll leave it at that for the time being. I think that will do. Right, you two, be aggressive. Calm yourselves down. They haven't calmed themselves down. We're going to get a red card, aren't we? I should have told Daniel Pitchford I want more from him. I'm going to do that now. Demand more from him. I'm going to demand more from McRae as well. I didn't do anything with those guys. And actually, I didn't do anything with Saliba. Saka, rather, not Saliba. Right, Tell. Running down that side. He ends up giving the ball away due to isolation, which is a bit of a concern. And now here comes Jacob Ramsey. Jacob Ramsey in this universe, by the way. England international. He's considered to be a superstar. Only ever won one trophy, and that was with England under 21s. So, playing for Spurs. It hasn't changed in FM apparently, because they haven't won a single trophy since the beginning of this save. They've made the Champions League final once, and I think that was the year that we faced them in the semi-final with Wolves. So they couldn't even win that final. Wrench with the cross, by the way, and Methis Tal has made it 2-0. And now I feel a little bit better. I'm not 100% happy, but I'm happier. But I do want to see a bit more from Saka and a bit more from Pitchford. At the moment, not the best games for either of them. Don't really like it when my best players going on and we're seeing rivalries. But, you know, it is what it is. Football Manager's going to football manage. Right, 60-odd minutes in and Spurs up. Fabregas. They've got a Fabregas. It's sacrilegious that they've got a Fabregas in a Spurs shirt. I know he played for Arsenal and Chelsea, but, you know, leave me to it. But B, I'm assuming that, well, it can't be because he's retired. It's not the Fabregas. I want to see what Fabregas that is. Right. Ball out to Pedro Porro. We need to get the ball off of him, ideally, as quickly as possible. But they're just passing it around here. Let's try and press them in a little bit. Least, he's not a very good defender, I don't think. He is an England's player, but I think it's more by necessity than it is by desire, if that makes sense. Passing it around quite nicely here. However, they're open for a mistake, and Daniel Pitchford is in. He's getting on my nerves now. He's not. Right, I'm going to put him on shoot less often because, quite frankly, that's his shooting. It's woeful. Oh my word, that was nearly a goal. Let's not pass it around there, please, boys. Right, Saka with the ball. Gets it forward to Pitchford. Gets tackled by Van der Ven. Not ideal there, really. Okay, come on, boys. Let's go and steal the ball off of them again. And let's try and go again, shall we? Because that was a golden opportunity to make it 3, and we did not take it. And who knows, that could be the start of a Spurs comeback. Hopefully not, but it could be. Right, ball all the way back to Vicario. Pitchford is kind of on the cusp of thinking about pressing for it, and he has stolen it there. And Daniel Pitchford goes and makes up for missing that chance earlier. And it's another mistake from the Spurs defence. Vicario, what are you doing there, man? What are you doing? Just dwells on it here. Well, no, it's not even there, actually. So it's Udogie and Vicario between them. And Pitchford gets his goal. And all of a sudden, we went from being dominated in the very early goings to being absolutely on top of things in the 65th minute. Well, Spurs fans, answer on the postcard. How annoyed would you be if that happened in real life? Saka has not really recovered in this game, so I'm going to bring on Simic, who's not really played a lot recently, so let's give him a bit of football. And McRae can come off for Paniagua. And then I am going to bring on Gavi as well. I know I don't normally like making all my changes. In fact, you know what? I am going to bring on Gavi, but I'm not going to bring on Paniagua just yet. I'm going to save that one just in case there's an injury. But Gavi can come on with a few minutes. Playing as a ball-winning midfielder on defend, which is one of his apparent favoured positions. I am just going to tell... Start the game first, probably a good idea. Has he calmed down? He has calmed down. Brilliant. Right, Pedro Porro with a free kick. The one thing that concerns me about Gavi is he throws himself into tackles. He's always aggressive. And his tackling stat is, well, attribute is 12. I don't think throws himself into tackles with an aggressive nature is very helpful when a player has a tackling attribute of 12. It's moderately concerning to me. I am aware of it. Especially with the fact that he's playing in a defensive position, but we're just going to have to deal with it. He's not really the player that I wanted, but there was a real surplus of defensive midfielders of the amount of money, which we had about £60 million. There was a real surplus of that quality of player in that position, and we just kind of had to make do with what we've got. I will say, I did look at Dos Santos, who we had as defensive midfield at Wolves. He would have cost so much money for a player who's a 3-star player in a Wolves team, but I don't know whether that would have translated to this team. It probably would have done, but I just didn't feel comfortable with making that deal. Right, Mephistel, is he going to get another one? No, he is not, and it remains 3-0. We've done very, very well. Considering Spurs have had their moments in the beginning of the game and in the middle of this second half, we've done very well to keep it to 3-0. I'd like to keep it at 3-0. Or just nil. I don't really want to concede a goal here. I'd like back-to-back clean sheets, please. That would be just as good as a win. And I think we're going to get it. We're in the final minute now, unless they're going to ruin it for me. I don't think they are. There we go. There we go. That is, honestly, making me very, very happy that we've got that. Delighted. Right. Big challenge number 1 over. Big challenge number 2 coming up. Again, it is at home, so that does mitigate the challenge slightly. However, it is against, as mentioned before, our former employers. And our former employers did, as previously seen, That's not the one. Get the better of us in the Premier League 3-2. Darwich and Tell scoring, but they had Wilhelm, their new player, Shockquist, which hurt, and a Twester, which really hurt, score against us. Although we did then batter them in the Champions League, where Saka got 2, Darwich got 1, Tell got 1, and Villalba got 1. So, you know, swings and roundabouts. Right, I'm going to go away. I'm going to get through these 3 days. I'll be back for Wolves, and hopefully we can get another win. We are back for the game against Wolves, who, just to remind you again, they are currently in about 5th place in the league, so they are doing quite well. And this is 11 that we're going to be using against them. It is going to be Owusu Duro in goal, Wrench, Saliba, Hato and Kadioglu in defence, Gavi, Darwich and Paniagua in the midfield, with Saka and Tell supporting Pitchford up front. Bit of a gamble. I am starting Gavi because he's more than good enough to start. It is still a gamble that we're playing him in a defensive role. And Paniagua, he's had a few good games, to be fair, so I do need to start trusting him a little bit more. I mean, he got 3 assists against West Ham. He's got 4 assists in the season. 3 of them came against West Ham. He really, really likes playing as an attacking midfielder, it has to be said. So it's a bit of a drop to see him not being able to play there, but I'm sure he'll be fine. We'll give him the chance anyway. We've got McRae on the bench. We're still not quite there for Odegaard. Still up, well, 12 days. We've got a number on it now. A maximum of 12 days before he's back and available, and then we'll just have to kind of nurse him back into the team. But let's go for it. Let's see whether we can beat our former employers, and let's see if we can do it comfortably. Again, last time in the league, didn't go so well at Molineux. Last time we played them in general, 5-0 in the Champions League. So we've got a mix of 2 performances to kind of go off of in terms of how we're going to do here. And, well, yeah, it is what it is. We'll see what happens. Just a reminder as well, there are players in the Wolves side I would very much like in this squad. So many of them. I'll highlight them when they come up on this next screen, just so you know just how coveted I think some of these players are. Bayer, in. Awino, in. Where is he? Wait, Shockquist. Where was Shockquist? Shockquist hasn't started. I did my player instructions and Shockquist was in the team. Shockquist hasn't made the squad. Ben Cook has. Ben Cook's obviously recovered from his injury. Shockquist has not made the squad. He was in the attacking midfield spot when I did my instructions. Well, okay. Okay, I mean, that makes life a little bit easier, but Shockquist is definitely a player I would covet. I actually think I'd covet James Trafford a little bit as well, because he was a better goalkeeper, dare I say, than Owusu Oduro. But he is injured as well, so we'll make sure that we are pressing him, hopefully, into making a mistake. But, okay, well, it is what it is. That helps us. I'm okay with that. Michael Shockquist is a quality player. If he's not in the 11, or even in the squads, the matchday squad, then that only benefits us. So I'll take that all day long. Right, we are underway here, and as you can see, Wolves again in 5th at the moment with a 15 goal difference. To be honest, they have dropped off in terms of the goal scoring, although they are playing quite well to begin with. This happened against Spurs, and I don't really like this early match momentum for the team who are visiting. We shouldn't be giving them more of the ball. Right, Saliba, out wide to Wrench. Wrench, it's a heavy touch from Wrench, and Coley now, this winger who they've signed. It's ball out, Gavi intercepts there nicely though. Darwich now, into Paniagua. Paniagua, waiting for the right moment, gets it to Tell. Gets it to Kadioglu, carries his run on a little bit, gets the ball again, goes past his man, it's into Pitchford. I tell you what, that's a really nice goal from Daniel Pitchford. Tell and Pitchford working really well there. Martinelli gets a look in every now and then, but not by much, and that's the reason why, because Tell is just fantastic. He started the season as the striker and did a good job, but he does a really good job on this wing, given he's playing as an inside forward. Has to be said, benefited by the deflection there, but it is going to be an assist for Tell, and it is going to be 1-0. Most importantly to Arsenal, sorry Wolves, I loved my time with you. We had many good memories and won many trophies, please don't hate me. I don't like the way that we're letting them have match momentum though. That does concern me a little bit. There it is. There it is. We're just letting them play around us a little bit. I'm going to demand more from the boys. I'm not overly happy. Yes, they're in the top 5. Yes, they're a good side. Yes, they're the Premier League champions. I'm not happy that they've scored there. Not with the way... to be fair, I've been a bit harsh. It's a deflected goal. Owusu Duro would have missed that completely had we not had the deflection. So actually, it's spared his blushes a little bit that he's ended up conceding it with a deflection, because he would have conceded a really, really bad goal without it otherwise. That was really messy, and I don't like the fact that we've given possession away again. McKernan's trying to support Atuesta, but Harto just runs past Atuesta and just nicks the ball off him, which is great. Right, Kadioglu into Paniagua. Paniagua goes out wide to Saka. We've not seen much from him today. Let's see something. Paniagua now looking for somewhere to get the ball to. God, just gives the ball away. Give the ball away again. Wrench really has been a bit sloppy on possession today. I think he's going to be a very, very early substitute in the second half. But Pitchford is in here with his second of the game. I tell you what, all I needed to do was play him consistently as an advanced forward. I'm really enjoying Daniel Pitchford's performance today. 2 goals, 2 very different goals. And, well, there we go. 2-1. And it's Noah Darvic, the former Wolverhampton Wanderers. I don't think you can call someone a legend when they played January to January for a club, but to me, he's a Wolverhampton Wanderers legend with how good he was, and he's been just as good for us as well. Speaking of which, free kick. I was getting ready to say top bins. I was really, really hopeful that that's what that was going to be. But not the case. Are you actually... Oh, I hate you. I hate you, Football Manager, so much for that. Are you actually kidding me? He gets into his groove and you're going to give him an injury. Are you serious? Foot injury. Fantastic. Well, Villalba comes on then. Let's see if Villalba can carry on. Hopefully he can. He's a good striker, Villalba. He is a good striker. He's got good potential. Give him the opportunity. I'm so annoyed. I'm so cross. He plays well and then that happens. Oh. I'm so mad at that. That's actually... I don't even care we're winning. I don't even care we beat Spurs. That honestly has ruined my mood a little bit. Starts playing really well. Injury. I'm very salty. I'm very salty. But we're winning 2-1 at half-time. Not had it all our own way. Again, bear in mind, Wolves are a good team. I know. The majority of those players are mine. So it's not that big of a surprise. Right. Kadioglu's been woeful. Gavi's not been particularly good either. But neither of the fullbacks have been good. I'm going to say you two. Just try and G you up. I'm going to tell the goalkeeper that he could have been better. And Paniagua's not been great either. Right, what can we do? What can we do? Well, Paniagua, he's given possession away a little bit. He's good on the ball, though, in terms of dribbling. So let's give him the ball to dribble with before he makes any passes. And let's have him be a little bit more direct. He's the playmaker, after all. Wrench, is there anything we can do to stop him from giving the ball away? I'm going to take that off. I don't really mind if he does that. And then I don't really know what to do about Kadioglu. We'll leave him for the time being. I will actually change him so he doesn't tackle too harshly. Yeah, we'll leave it at that for now. I'd say if it ain't broke, don't fix it, but I don't want to jinx anything. Right, second half, let's get into it. Owino's having a good game. Coley's having a good game, whoever he is. Gavi, lovely interception there. Gets it to Harto, and now we begin again. Right, Paniagua into Darvic. Great pass, actually. Villalba now to Saka. We're cooking here. This is lovely. Into Darvic, and Darvic looking for a third in the game. His second. Cannot... I say his second. He hasn't scored in this game, has he? That was the previous one. I'm forgetting Daniel Pitchford got 2 before his injury. That's another reason why I was so cross. The man was on a hat-trick. Darvic close to getting his first of the game, but our third. Didn't get it there, but Saka into the box now, whipping it in. Looking for Methistel. Tried to head it across the goal, but does win a corner. Lovely stuff from him, actually. Tell's been very, very good this season. Really enjoyed using him. So I find it funny that he's ended up at Arsenal in this save, whereas in real life, this season just finished, he was obviously a Spurs player. Right, Coley now trying to do it all on his own. We're swarming around him. We need to get the ball off of him. We didn't tackle him when we had the chance to, and now we've let them come forward. Andre, we know he's got a worldie on him. Wrench does a decent job. I say decent because he put the ball out of play. I'd rather him kept it in play, but we work with what we work with. Right, 56 minutes, still 2-1. We have a highlight. Paniagua fell over but passed the ball. I respect his commitment. Methistel, good game, but he's starting to get a little bit big for his boots there. Doesn't need to be having the long shot. Could have held on to it and found a pass there. Paniagua's increased a little bit. I think Gavi's done a little bit better than a 6.5, but we need to do something about the defence. That is definitely the area that we need to improve in. I'm going to do it now, actually, before we get this set piece. Right, change number 1. Harto hasn't played particularly well. I've got 2 centre-backs and a right-back to work with. Right, Rigeri's going to come on. I did that the wrong way around, really. I'm going to bring Satalo on as well. I'm going to take Wrench off for Nathan Collins, who can do that job as well. So that's 4 changes. I'm going to leave everything else because everyone else further forward than that is doing okay. Gavi does worry me a little bit, but I think we can live with it. I actually think I might change it to a defensive midfielder. I have been training him on defensive midfield. And I'm actually going to maybe change him to support. I'm going to get him to hold his position. So he's just in this area, just trying to help out a little bit. We'll do that. We'll see if it helps any. It might not. Right. Changes are plenty. Didn't get the highlights, so nothing happened with that, which is fantastic. Villalba's been anonymous since coming on, which is not ideal. But it is what it is. Right, highlight. Wolves in possession in their half with their defence. Of course, they're playing high up the pitch because they are a good team. Owino gives the ball away to Villalba. Villalba just takes it off of him. Goes for the long shot, wins a corner, but maybe he could have held it up for players coming in support. Didn't do that, though. Right, corner. Saka to take. Saka's had a decent game today, actually. Pretty good performance. Whips it in. Looking for the header, Saliba does not find him. Villalba does not win the ball there. We will get possession back here. Colley does not get it running forward. He's actually dropped down to a 6.9. We know, despite that mistake, still on a 7. Trafford on the 7 as well. Game recognising how well he has done. I'm going to demand more from the boys because we've played well in this game, more or less. We have let them have some play at different times, but I have to recognise the fact that we are beating a very, very good team. I know they're a good team because I built it. Rigeri steals the ball there. Nicely done. He's waiting for support. Methistel doesn't actually come to him. Weird attempt at a pass there. Collins does well to get the ball off of a Atuesta, though, but the ball over the top doesn't do anything. Right. Can Darvic steal the ball back? It's not Darvic. It is Darvic, sorry. I'm getting mixed up there. Right, Paniagua. Paniagua gets to Villalba. Into Tell. Getting to Rigeri. Rigeri waiting for someone to come in there for the cross. I think it is Villalba who's in there. He's just muscled out by the defenders. But it is another corner. So another opportunity to put the ball in the back of the net for Arsenal. I need to say Wolves then. I need to remember which team I'm managing. Right, Saka to take. Whipping it in. No one gets the head to the ball there. But Darvic does have it here. Into Collins, of all people. Yes, he's playing right back, isn't he? I forgot where he was playing for a second then. But nothing doing on that one. Right, final change. I'm thinking of freshening things up. Saliba has actually dropped down. He was having a good game, well, a decent-ish game, and he's dropped right down, so that's a bit disappointing. My final change, I'm going to leave Gavi where he is, because actually, he's gone up a little bit. I don't think he's played too badly today. I'm thinking energy. Villalba 6.3 is shocking. I can't sub him again, because that just feels harsh. Paniagua is probably the one I want to keep on, but actually he's had the worst game. I'd rather keep everyone else on. So I'm going to bring on Alfie McRae as the final change, and we'll just see whether we can just eke another goal out maybe. I'll settle for a 2-1, but I'd like another goal if it's possible. Right, fire the boys up. One more goal would just settle us and just finish the game off. That would be nice, but I'm happy with what we've got. We have dominated the game in the end. That beginning was a little bit concerning. Right, throw-in. Rafa Marine, who inexplicably takes their throw-ins, which I don't know how I feel about a centre-back taking throw-ins. Right, Bortacoli. Collins has just given away a penalty. There's no way that's not a penalty. Right, it's on Owusu Aduro. Can he save it? I don't know whether he can. This will be 2 points dropped. I'll be very disappointed. We've been all over them in the second half. Unless Owusu Aduro is a penalty hero. Apparently, he's a penalty hero. I'm going to go attack him for the final few minutes. Let's just try and put them under pressure to stop them from scoring. Saka clears it. James Trafford up. Lads, If now is the chance, surely. No, Guilherme into Hughes. Hughes back to Guilherme. Guilherme looking to try and get it across. But Gary does a really, really good job there. And that, I think, will be the danger doing. Atuesta ended up going off injured. They did have a substitution left. Cook ended up coming on as a deep line forward. I don't think it's going to matter, though. There it is. We do beat our former employers in our home game against them 2-1. A much narrower victory than it was in the Champions League, but at least we're on the right side of it this time rather than the game in the league at Molineux. And that leaves us with, as you can see on the table here, what is that? That is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-point gap with a game in hand. And a plus 60 goal difference, because that's what we're about. Wolves do remain in 5th. They've lost a bit of ground against Man United in 4th place. And also, I imagine Manchester City are now closing in on them. Apologies, I've got a little bit of hiccups there. Yeah, they are actually. Man City just won their game, so a little bit of an issue. Leeds United, though, shout out to Leeds United on 44 points. They're doing very, very well indeed. But yeah, that is going to be it for today's video. So we will be back for when we have the Champions League next 3 to 4 weeks. He's just starting to play well, and you're going to give him a 4-week injury. Are you actually so... I'm mad at that. I'm so mad at that. Well, we're going to have to leave him, aren't we? That's him out for the cup final. Not that we're bothered. We're not coming back for that because we've already won it. Right. We are going to come back. That's the wrong screen, Stuart. I'm that mad. I'm clicking the wrong things. We are going to come back for the Champions League. I don't need to move my head just yet. But we're going to come back for the Champions League here. We don't know who we're playing against, but we'll come back for that game. And we'll tie it in either with the Middlesbrough game or the Leicester game, one or the other. I'll decide nearer the time. It's not in that many games' time anyway, so we'll come back for that and then we'll see what's happening. Remember, really, as much as I do want to win the league with Arsenal, this is mainly about the Champions League now. We've ticked all of the boxes we need to tick up until this point. The aim of this save is to win the Champions League and then go from there and see if we can win it a couple more times at different clubs. So let's see whether we can do that. But that is conversation for another video. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed today's video, do not forget to leave a like on there for me, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well so you don't miss any of the content coming from the channel in the future. I've been Stu, you guys have been awesome, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.